Okay, so this is episode 2, Broken Promises. There is going to be a disclaimer at the beginning of this one, just due to some of the content. Basically, we're going to pick up where it was kind of lead up to where we are now with going to go stay with my dad. I feel like some of the timelines were kind of mixed because I couldn't remember how old I was. Like 4, 5, 6, how old was I? But I definitely didn't go to live with my dad till I was 6 because I was going into the first grade. So I'm thinking when my mom told us about going to go stay with my dad, that was after Lucas was born, because I do remember staying in the basement for a short amount of time for a little bit, but it wasn't ideal. I mean, it wasn't finished, if I remember correctly. It was like a Michigan basement, but like we didn't care, we were kids. And my sister was getting beat up for lunch money. I mean, it was a hard time. So my mom probably just thought that it would be better for us to go stay with our dad for a little bit until they were more, stable. It just wasn't, she didn't think it was good for her girls to be, living this way. She honestly, I mean, she defends it to this day that, she was just trying to do the right thing for me and my sister, and my dad had, significantly better. The girlfriend that my mom tried to hit with her car ended up permanent with my dad, and he asked her to marry him. So that was one of the first experiences I had when I went to live with my dad, was his marriage to my stepmom. Sandy was her name, and she had a son, as I mentioned, and that's my second stepbrother, Justin, and he is a year older than me. I was the baby, again, yay. Not that it mattered much. We got to meet Sandy and her son, Justin, upon going to go live with my dad. I remember the first time I met Justin, I thought he was just so cool, and that's what he was like, doing cartwheels. I remember in like his room or something down the hallway, or I don't know. It was just like, oh, this dude can do cartwheels, cool, whatever. And I remember meeting Sandy and thinking, I was just like infatuated with her. I just thought she was like the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life. Not that my mom wasn't a beautiful woman, but that was my mom. Sandy would like sit there and she'd sit on the couch and like pluck her eyebrows with her little mirror, and she was just so feminine. She was like a correctional officer. I mean, she had a couple different positions, but I remember her most prominent one being as a correctional officer, and she always had these really great stories, and they were like fascinating about like the inmates and like different situations, and I just thought she was fascinating because she was really smart, and she spoke well, and she was like hard worker, and like rose to the top, kind of like what I do now. And I really like wanted her to like me, especially because my dad didn't like us, it felt like. So my stepmom, she was just like a huge part of my life from then on. Like, she basically raised me. Wasn't around my mom as much. I got to where we were just seeing my mom every other weekend. The entire time we were there, like I was just waiting for like the moment when my mom come back and we could go back, because it just living with my dad was not ideal. In the middle of nowhere, what they called the boonies back in the day, and like 7 miles from civilization, neighbors not close, lots of land, country. And we came from the city. She also worked with the drug dogs, the canine team or whatever. And she was really into that, and she trained dogs or the people to work with the dogs. So we had like kennels out there, like with all these dog kennels and all these dogs. Nikki, which was Sandy's dog, that was like her main dog. And she has some good stories about Nikki. Like one time when she was training somebody to work with the dogs, they'd have like those like things they'd wear so if the dog grabbed on it wouldn't hurt, and they were like in the front yard, and she was like showing him how to work with the dog, and he like went and grabbed her arm. The guy she was training, Sandy, grabbed Sandy's arm, and Nikki, who was inside, the German Shepherd, saw this through the window because they're like very protective, and like went through like literally broke through the window to get to Sandy because she thought she was in danger. We taught all the dogs in German, so we would like speak to our dogs in German, which was weird at first. I mean, but now it's like almost like it's weird if I see somebody with a German Shepherd not speaking to them in German. It was kind of a whole different world going to go live there, and because my dad was so kind of cold towards us as children, and I didn't have any kind of a connection with him, I kind of gravitated towards Sandy, like, I'm gonna win her over. I just want her to love me. And, you know, she was a good mom. I mean, as much as she could be. I know that it's hard because I've been a stepmother. I was married and had stepchildren. It's just different. So it was very difficult for me to accept somebody else's child as my own. It's not right. I mean, I wish I had been a better stepmother, honestly. But I was young and I didn't understand, but I mean, if I could change things, I would. And with Sandy, she was like, she did a good job. Like, she wasn't as good as Leon. Like, Leon was like all in, you know, like how he treated you. Like, I never felt like anything less than his daughter. But Sandy was kind of different. She like was kind of guarded with her love, but it was like only with us. She, you know, was very much about manners and respect and respecting yourself as a woman, which she taught me a lot of that. I remember she used to say, you know, don't give it away. Like how women are so promiscuous, like don't give it all away, like make the man chase you, like remain a mystery. And that's always stuck with me. And I've always done that. You got to remain a mystery. Don't like give all the goodies away. That's what my dad used to tell me. I'm like, oh, you know. And she always had good stories. Like her dad was a smoker and like he had died of emphysema, and it made her really sad because she was really close with her dad, which was fascinating to me. Like, what's that like? What do you mean you were close with your dad? Did he love you? She was an important person in my life for a long time. I remember my very first friend I made when I went to school, and her name was Carissa, and we're still friends. She's a good friend. But I remember walking up to me. She's like, "Hey, I'm Carissa. What's your name?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm Amy." She's like, "You want to be my friend?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." And we've been friends ever since. I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but we're still friends. I mean, that's probably the longest standing friendship I've ever had. So thanks, Carissa. You're the best. I love you. It's good to have those kind of people in your life. And Carissa was a big one for me because I was new and I was scared and all that stuff had happened. Like having to come there. I didn't want to come there. I didn't want to start this new school. I didn't know Justin. I met this brother person. Like when it came to me, like, yeah, it's my sister, I guess. I remember Sandy more than my dad. I mean, I don't know. It was my dad. That reason we were there, but it was like he didn't really care for us. He didn't like us. He didn't really have anything nice to say about us. I used to be really bubbly, and she always thought I was gonna be a cheerleader because I was just like energy, which I'm still that way as an adult. That's just my personality, but with a little mix of Daria in there because my dad made me kind of took some of my joy from me, and my mom noticed that, and it makes me sad when she says that. She's like, "Yeah, your dad really like changed you." Yeah. So that's where the disclaimer comes in. So I'm gonna tell some of the stories of living with my dad, and just so you can get a context of what it was like for us. It wasn't the same. Like it wasn't, I didn't feel happy. Like I couldn't, my dad was very strict and very like protective of us. I don't know. My mom used to let us just go play. Like we would just go outside and play at the neighbor's house or go and do whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted to. And she didn't really check on us. I mean, it's probably a dangerous thing. She should have probably been a little bit more strict with us, but we just kind of went and played and did our thing. And I mean, I never went by myself. I was always with my sister. So it's like we had each other, but we weren't like told we couldn't do things. And my dad was not letting us do anything. We couldn't have friends over. We couldn't go to friends' houses. We couldn't just watch cartoons, get up and watch cartoons in the morning like my mom let us do. Like on Saturday morning, we'd get up, watch cartoons, eat cereal, whatever. We couldn't do that at my dad's. We had to stay in bed until he was up. Which, who knows what time he's going to get up. And it was like weird, like, why can't we get up? You're not watching cartoons because I'm going to go watch something and you're just going to do chores or something. I don't know. And that's what it became. Chores, because we weren't allowed to be children. We were children, for God's sake, like little children. I was 7 and I'm tiny. I'm tiny now. I was tiny then. I was a little child. He's like, "Oh, let's see if you can push this lawnmower." And I'm just like, okay. And I'm like trying to push it and like struggling. He's like, "Yeah, she can push it." Okay. Like, and he was OCD, which is tons of fun, isn't it? I mean, you should have chores for your children. It teaches them hard work, but it was like excessive. Like we had to do what they called edges, like with the wet bag, you go around all the edges, and like who wants to do that? No kid wants to do that. Every Saturday we had to mow the lawn. Nobody wants to do that, especially in the summer. It's hot. I dreaded it. It was not fun. Hot and sweaty and mosquito bites. I just remember hating it. And there wasn't really anything fun to look forward to. Or if it was winter and you like wanted to go sledding, let's say we would get our sleds and go sledding down the hill. if you got cold right away, you know, you'd get cold. So we'd be doing it for a while and try to go inside. Nope, you're not coming inside. You've only been out there for like 30 minutes. Go play some more. Okay, I don't want to. I want to go inside. I'm fucking cold. Right. I remember when I thought I got frostbite. My hands were like so numb. And we were like scared of our dad, which is what he wanted. That's his idea of respect, is being afraid of him, I suppose. I'm just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm like freezing to death here, and I don't want to be out here anymore. I don't care if I have to go to bed, because that was like always his threat. Like, oh, if you do this, you have to go to bed. Whatever. Because he'd lock the door. He did that in the summer too. Yeah. So lock the door in the winter. And we had to knock on it, and he was like, well, if you come in, you have to go to bed. I'm like, as long as I'm warm, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, what was the limit? When did we get to come in? I mean, I just want to come inside and be warm. Like, he act like we're just going to run in and out. No, I'm staying in. So we just annoyed him. He just didn't want us around. He just locked us outside like a dog or something. But the time came where I think it was like a year, and like pulled us in the living room, which was always awkward. Like, oh, God, I can talk to this guy. And he was very intimidating. And he was like, so we're about to do this, you know, have this court thing, and they're going to ask if you want to live with your mom or with me. And which one? So what are you going to choose? And I'm just like, I really want to go live with my mom, which he did not like. And he was like, why? Why do you want to live with her? And I'm like, because I miss her. I want to go back there. I miss her. Well, aren't you going to miss me? Well, what I wanted to say was, no, who are you? But I could see that was not the right answer. I don't know. And then I'd cry. I'm fucking crybaby. I just want to go live with my mom, you know, like. And he would just yell at me like, no, I don't think that's what we're gonna do. And I'm like, what? This is what I was told was gonna happen, and I didn't think I was gonna be put on the spot and like make anybody feel bad. I just thought that was like the plan. So I don't know the details exactly, and I'm sure my mom can fill in those holes at some point. If I have her on my channel, I'm sure she'll be disgusted with the content, but I don't care. I need to talk to my mom. And yeah, he limited that too. Like, when we could talk to my mom, like, she would call, he'd tell us we weren't available, even though, I mean, we were. I'd cry, like, I thought we were coming back. And she's like, oh, there's nothing, you know, I can't, your dad's like fighting me on this. You're gonna have to stay there for a little longer. So we're like, oh man, okay. The first broken promise. So we didn't get to go back after a year like we were promised. My parents, more my dad than my mom, tried to play us against each other. Like, try to get us to tell him stuff about her that was, you know, not good. But I mean, like, she didn't really prompt us she didn't really ask us stuff about him. She didn't really ask us stuff about him as much as I'm cold, as much as he would like pump us for information about her and Leon specifically. And you'll see why. He was cool, and like, would, you know, he used to do this thing where he'd flex his arms, and we'd hang on his arms, and he'd like do this, you know. And I just thought he was the strongest man in the world. And it was just so fun. I just enjoyed going there, especially even like on the every other weekend thing that we were doing. I still enjoyed that time. I looked forward to it. I remember getting excited at, like, I'd be in elementary school, and I'd be like, oh, today's the day I'm gonna go to my mom's for the weekend. I'm so excited. And it's not like we did anything fun, because they were poor. Like, my dad had more money than my mom by far. So they were poor, and then they were just kept having children. So it wasn't getting better. Let's get our shit together, and then you guys can come back. But it was getting worse. And then Leon, he didn't like, because we liked him. So there was that. On my mom's side of things, it was some things started occurring that we didn't really understand a lot of at the time. I would say maybe like 3 years after we were living with my dad. Yeah, 3 years. I was like 10 maybe when things started coming to light of what was happening. And I think that's when my brother Cody, my third brother, my mom got pregnant with him. She was using it as somewhat of a tactic, which is not the best way to handle such situations, but we'll revisit that, maybe episode 3. Yeah. So he was always looking for some reason to not let us go to my mom's. Like, oh, are you getting hurt? Or are you know, something happening? Did anything inappropriate happen? Always asking us. Sandy would ask that too. I'm like, no, no. Not at first anyway. Nothing crazy was happening. Like, no. So when I was 8, so this is about a year after I was living with my dad, and he used to like always buy these like off-brand SpaghettiOs with the little chunks of meat. I don't even know. It wasn't the SpaghettiO brand. That's all I know. It was like gross. And I didn't really care for him, but it was like, that's what he always gave us in like butter sandwiches. I don't know. It was a weird, like he didn't know how to feed us or something. And I woke up like the middle of the night, like midnight, and just like nauseous. Like I could not control it. Like just I sat up like suddenly and just, and we had bunk beds. So I'm on the top bunk bed. And I just vomited, all projectile vomit all over into the nothingness. I immediately was like, oh my God, I'm in big trouble because my dad was not cool about anything. I mean, I was sick. There's nothing I could really do about it. It's not like I purposely was like, well, too lazy to like go in the bathroom and do it. It's like I woke up and had to vomit. Like there was no in between. So I threw up SpaghettiOs all over the room. And I was like, oh shit, you know, I guess I was 8. I probably didn't say oh shit. I was like, oh my God. You know. Wake up my sister. She's like, what is it? Looks like a can of SpaghettiOs exploded all over the room. I'm like, oh, I'm sick. I don't know. And she's like, well, you gotta go wake up our dad. I didn't even know like firsthand what to do to clean up this mess. I had no idea. So my sister wasn't offering any help. She's just like, go wake him up. Like I'm trying to go back to sleep. Like she was all disgusted with me. He's probably gonna get mad if I wake him up, and even more mad if he finds out I threw up all over my room. Which you shouldn't have to worry about that when you're sick. I mean, like, it's a parent's job to take care of their child when they're sick, right? So I finally get up the nerve and I go out there and I'm like, Daddy, because we had to call him Daddy. Daddy. I'm like, Daddy, I got really sick. And you go, what do you want? And fucking hindrance. What do you want? Why you wake me up? And I'm like, I'm sick. I'm really sick. He's like, well, what's wrong with you? It's like, I don't know. I woke up and I threw up. What do you mean you threw up? Like, I threw up on the floor in my room. He's like, what? Like, gets up off the couch all quick and goes back there, and I'm like following him, like crying, you know. He's like, what the fuck? The fuck? Puked all over the floor? Like, you didn't even try to go to the bathroom? I'm like, so I was instantly afraid, instantly scared, because he was like, you didn't try? And I was like, I did try. I tried it, but I couldn't. He's like, don't look like you tried. Like it's all over by like where your head would be. Like you just like didn't even try. And I didn't know. I mean, doesn't matter. Like I'm a child, for God's sake. So he was just like, yeah, you didn't try. Yeah, you got to clean this up. So he goes and gets like the wet back, his favorite thing. And when you're done with that, then I'm going to go get you some soap and water to clean up the carpet. I'm like, okay. I'm 8 and I'm sick and sure, why not? And I was just sitting there watching me, like getting some sort of pleasure out of like his sick little 8-year-old daughter, like crying and cleaning up like her own puke with the vacuum cleaner. Like it was kind of weird, like kind of sadistic. What is wrong with my dad? Why is he treating her like this? As if we didn't already expect that. I don't know. Maybe she didn't expect that because I was sick. Maybe she thought he would be better to me. He wasn't. His soapy water brings it back. And it's not just soapy water. It's like blazing hot water with all this bleach in it. It's like, all right, use this. Crying, you know, sick. And the bleach was making it worse. So, like dry, you know. But I was wrong. Is that bleach burning your eyes? He says. And you know what he did? He said, good. And then he kicked me. Fucking kicked me. I'm like on my knees. This man kicks me, I'm a little girl. So I start crying even more. My sister started crying because she's like, oh my God, he just kicked her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this man? And he's like, what are you looking at, you know? And she like flips over. And I just want to make clear my dad was not like physically abusive, so to speak. It was more of a mental abuse, but like he did kick me. That happened. And I remember it sticks in my head as like one of these situations that kind of makes me despise him. Kind of makes it hard to, you know, forgive him. So then my sister became Heather the thief because she like her lips were chapped and they had a bathroom in their bedroom, like attached to their room. And she went in there to find some chapstick. She had some obviously chapped lips because she was breaking some rules. I don't know, my dad used to do weird shit like count how many pieces of bologna there were or measure how much milk was in the jug. That way if we ate or drank anything, because we weren't allowed to do that, he would accuse us. My mom let us eat whenever we wanted. Like, that was, you're supposed to let your kids eat, right? Same thing with chapstick. And the ibuprofen, go to the warden and he had to determine whether it was worth giving ibuprofen, like he could feel our pain in some way. She needed it and she went and got it. Somehow he found out she took it, probably was like, where's my chapstick? But it's not here. I gotta put my chapstick on my lips. I guess it was his chapstick. I don't fucking know. My lips were chapped. Oh, you just went in my bathroom and took my chapstick? You stole my chapstick? You're a thief. So we had long hair, and one of the first things he did when we moved there was tell us that we had to brush our own hair. Okay, I'm 7. Like, no, like that's my mom's job. My mom brushes my hair, right? I don't brush my hair. It cuts off all her hair. Me and my sister. Cuts all her hair off. Like a boy. They just took us and I cried. They're cutting off my hair because I didn't brush it. Wow. Got made fun of. Called a boy. Stepmom, she felt really bad that my dad had done that and cut all her hair off. But it was like always trying to ugly us up, you know? So we didn't have friends or boys didn't like us or whatever reason he did that kind of stuff to us. I worked with her down, we had like this booth down at a like farmer's market type thing. And I was like, they were teaching us at that age how to be entrepreneurs. Apparently I was like 7, 8 or whatever. Count and change back. I can count and change back. And one of the customers, thank you, sir. You know, call me sir. I'm a girl, you know. And Sandy felt really bad for me because I was so upset about being called a boy. I want my hair back. So she took me to get my ears pierced, which I thought was really sweet. My Aunt Marcy is the one that did it for me, another one of my dad's sisters who I love. And she worked at Clear's. And my stepmom surprised me and took me up there. And I remember just, it was one of the best days ever as a child, and going to get my ears pierced, and they felt pretty again. So that was nice of her to do. And back to the chapstick thing. So Thief Heather took the chapstick, and from that day forward, he put a lock on his door, and in a furious way. So the answering machine was in his room, and we weren't allowed to answer the phone unless it was them. And I guess we were allowed to answer it for our mother too. But she was always like assigned a certain day she could call us. Like she could call us on Wednesday. And if we weren't there, then she just didn't get to talk to us. Which, why does it matter? Like, can she just call us whenever she wants? Like, okay. We had to start laying down on the floor and like listening underneath the door to like who was calling on the answer machine before we could pick it up. Because there was a phone. We can't just pick it up. We didn't have caller ID. This is like early 90s. And like usually how it worked, there were 3 of us, me, Heather, and Justin. Like one of us would lay on the floor and listen while the other one waited to say whether we could answer it or not, if it was Sandy or our dad. I don't know what caused this to occur, but my dad was like jealous of us talking, like when my mom would call or something. Like he didn't like us talking to her if he wasn't there to like eavesdrop or something. And there was like no phone at all. And it was just like locked in his room, and they could leave messages and we would have to listen to what the message was. Like, hey, do this before I get home or whatever. I won't be home till 6 or whatever if they called, just so we couldn't have contact with our mom. The phone. Then here's another situation. There's just all kinds of them. I mean, I'm hoping that my sister will like come in and collaborate with me on this episode and maybe give some insight on ones that I might have left out or forgot, because there's so many of them. Sandy was like strict, but not as strict as our dad. So Justin got to do a lot more than us. Like he was in football, so he got to go like to football games. We couldn't even go to football games. Like I just want to go to football. I didn't really even want to watch the football game. I just wanted to hang out with my friends and just like walk around and like, you know, have fun, like, you know, you're supposed to. But we weren't allowed to do that kind of stuff. Like I couldn't even go to homecoming, you know, because it was like this drag for my dad to have to like take us to practice or something. And, you know, nobody wanted, I remember I was in hockey for a short amount of time, and like hockey practice got over one day, nobody came to pick me up. Like not my stepmom, not my dad. And like my coach had to drive me home. Conveniently forgot. Reminiscent of the past. That didn't last long. That's the only sport I played in high school or I think that was middle school. Maybe it was elementary school. I think it was. So I wasn't in sports because it was too inconvenient for him, but somehow my brother got to play sports. So he had it pretty good. At least he had like a decent parent, a parent that actually like loved him and cared about him. And like, if she was strict with him, it was like for his own good, you know? It wasn't like just to be like fucking mean and like make you unpopular. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what my dad was trying to do. Like, keep us so like nobody liked us. So like, we weren't asked to do anything and we didn't have boyfriends and he could just control us all the time. Pleased him to like make us sad. Like, who does that? I have children, okay? I have children. And I would never, like, purposely do something to hurt them. In fact, it brings me joy when they're happy. I want to make them happy. Like, what can I do to make you happy? My dad did mess me up slightly when it comes to being a mother because I'm not super loving. I love my children, and I tell them that as much as I can and without feeling weird about it. But it did mess me up in that way. But besides that, I was definitely striving to be a better parent than my father was, and I'm not a control freak, so they know this, and my kids love me. So anyway, back to Justin and his ability to do whatever he wanted while we were like, you know, locked in the tower still. So we're like out there doing dishes, me and my sister, and we're like talking about how Justin has it really good. We're like, man, Justin, they like treat Justin better. Don't you think Justin gets treated better? He can like do whatever he wants, and like we like can't do anything. Like, what's that about? And then all of a sudden, and then my dad like pops out from behind like this corner, like he was listening to us, like, I guess, whatever, like, I don't care. He's like, oh, you think that we treat Justin better? And me and Heather are like, yeah, kind of, it seems he gets the better end of things than we do. Like, we can't, you know, trying to explain it, like why we said that. And he's like, well, if that's what you think, then I'll show you like what it is to be treated better. And I was like, what? Now, your solution is to treat Justin even better to let us know what that feels like. Like, we already know. We're talking about how it feels. And Sandy was part of this, which is like boggles my mind sometimes. Like, she was part of some of this stuff. And I don't know, like, if she was just told the story differently, like by my dad, like, oh yeah, they were talking some mad shit. We weren't. We were actually kind of sad about it. So she took Justin to go get ice cream. Like, and not us. Like, and came back with it. That was me. So, yeah, it was a joy living with my dad's. It was just constant abuse, basically, like psychological abuse. All these insane punishments, like, especially concerning, like, eating food. I'm not a big mushroom fan. I despise them. I hate them. I hate them. And I don't hate much food. I'll eat, like, anything. I'll eat anything. But mushrooms was not something I was willing to eat. I think, ooh. And my sister felt the same way about squash. Like, we both had these two things. We did not, like, kids have that. Usually kids have, some kids only eat macaroni and cheese. Carissa, the 1 or 2 times I got to go, her mom would just make her macaroni and cheese. Like, whenever she wanted it. I'm like, dude, your mom just makes you macaroni and cheese. And like, what is this? Like, they always made eggs for breakfast on Sunday, which you think, oh, wow, they're making breakfast, but they always put mushrooms in them. Like, can you just make some without mushrooms? Because you know I don't like them. And then they give me a big heaping plate full of them. Like, I don't want these. They're disgusting. Just thinking about it makes me want to throw up. They put cheese in it, like cheesy, mushroomy eggs. Like, gross. We had to eat them. And if I didn't eat them, even if I didn't want them, I didn't have a choice. Like, you're eating them. So I'd be like sitting there like staring down my mushrooms, and you couldn't take a long time. I see you watching TV in the mirror. Like, dude, who cares? So we weren't allowed to watch TV. I mean, barely ever, but ever. We never had reign of the TV. And certainly not if you were eating dinner and staring down your mushrooms. Entertainment, no. Only I get to sit here and eat my food and watch TV, which is exactly what I did. My parents never sat at the table with us. Us 3 kids sat at the table and had to eat, like, you know, the proper children with no elbows on the table and all that shit. Eat your mushrooms. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to eat those mushrooms. So I developed this scheme of things where I'd have like a napkin and I'd like put the eggs in my mouth and spit the mushrooms out into the napkin. My sister got caught doing it because I told her my trick when she was eating squash. She got caught because she's not good like me, apparently sloppy. Like, dad's like, you know, watching us all the time. Caught her. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with that? Ooh, like, let me see your napkin. She spit her squash on it, and then she got in trouble. It was like fish. Okay, so I like fish, but this was a little different. So this fish had an eye. It wasn't like a fish stick. It was like a literal fish on the plate with like an eyeball staring up at me. I'm not fucking eating this shit. I'm not eating this. I'm like 10. And we had just gone, and that was back in the day when they had like video stores. I'm not talking Redbox. I'm like actual video stores. And we go and pick out a movie. I think it was a Friday night. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 came out. And we were into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was this fish. And then we were going to watch this movie. So I was like super excited. I'm like, oh man, I just want to watch this movie. I don't want to eat that. Like, I have to eat this fish, you know? I tried. I like took one bite out of it. I was like, oh my God, no. Fish was like looking at me like, oh, you're eating me. There, Sandy was just like, is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with the food? It's like, it has an eye. Like, I can't eat it. I can't do it. So anyway, I was not eating that fish. And I tried, and I was crying because I knew I was going to have to go to bed, and I didn't want to miss that movie. But, you know, I wasn't going to eat that fish. So my dad's like, oh, go to bed. You're not going to eat your dinner, you go to bed. So I'm like, okay. You know, I went and laid down in my bed, and our room was like right up against the living room, like the wall between the living room and our room was like the same. And I could hear like, cowabunga, dude. I'm just in there crying because I didn't get to see it at all because I have fucking fish. So that sucked. I mean, it seems like petty stuff, but like, it was big for a little girl, you know? It didn't seem fair, and I always didn't think it seemed fair, and I always like questioned it, like, what is this normal? Like, we were secluded. We didn't really know that it was abnormal, like the rules and all the stuff. Like in the summertime, we had a pool, okay, and we weren't allowed to swim in it or go outside in the summer at all. We weren't allowed to go outside or do it until they got home. And if we did, then we were in big trouble. Like, how would they know, right? But they knew. I remember telling my mom about it, like how we were like she thought that was really unfair for us to have to be in the summer. Kids, like these kids can't even go outside. Her and my dad were kind of in this battle about like the custody thing, because she wanted custody of us and he like was not relinquishing it. And she had to pay child support, and she was poor. By this time she had Cody. So there was 3 boys, she had 3 kids, and they were poor, and she had to pay child support. Isn't that fucked up? My poor mother. Once that was exposed, my dad was concerned that he was going to get in trouble because we were too young to be staying home alone. So then he brings in a babysitter, and her name was Amanda, and she was pretty cool. I remember she played that Big Bus song. Sort of makes a lot. The Big Bus. I remember her playing that, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But she was cool. And then after her, then my Aunt Tina would come, and my Aunt Tina was around like when we were real little. I think when my mom and dad were still together, she was kind of like a nanny. She like she lived with us. So she came and she would like watch us, which was great because I loved my Aunt Tina. Yeah, here's a good one. So we had to scoop the kennels with the dog poop in it and mow them. So you scoop all the shit and then you'd mow it, which was a pain in the ass. And one time there was like all these vines like growing up the back kennels. And my dad's like, you guys have to pull all these vines out, like, because the weed whacker's not going to be able to cut those, they're too thick. So here's me and my sister, we're like children out, like pulling like a man, pulling all these huge vines out, right? And we go inside. I'm assuming we took a shower. I'm assuming. I mean, at least I did. I don't know. And the next morning, I wake up and my sister, oh my God, she looked like Quasimodo. Like those vines, poison sumac. So we're out here pulling out this poison sumac. My dad had to have known that. He had to have known that was poison sumac and just let us sit there and fucking pull it out. And I don't think I'm allergic to poison ivy or anything. I have never had it my entire life. And I was right there beside my sister pulling these fucking poison sumac fucking vines out, and I was fine. My sister had so much. Her face is like so swollen, like she had little raisin eyes. I'm like, what the fuck happened to you? I remember calling her fathead, and she was like so upset. And she was in pain. That stuff always happened to my sister. And she has poison ivy so bad. So my dad ended up putting like this window air conditioner in the room, which is like weird because that's like being accommodating to your children, which I would never imagine he would do. But I think it's because she was so severely had poison ivy. I mean, like maybe borderline like concerning. We had air conditioning for a couple of weeks. That was nice. And there was another time when my sister was mowing and she ran over. Like I think this happened to her like 2 or 3 times. She ran over a beehive. Like the bees went up her shoulder, like stinging her. I've never ran over a beehive. I've never got poison bag. This poor thing. And there's more. I just keep thinking of stuff. Like, it's insane. So when I was in second grade, so I would have been 8 at this time, me and my brother, Justin, I was such a tomboy. I always played with my brother because Heather wasn't really like into playing. Like, she'd like a bookworm. She'd always be reading and being all like a nerd. And I just like to have fun. So, and Justin did too. So we'd like be playing soccer or something. And we always used to play this thing called Army. And I'd go through all this training, like Justin would be like, all right, climb this tree and do 5 push-ups and pull-ups and whatever. So I'd be like doing all this different stuff. Because I had to like climb this tree and jump out of it. I don't know what that had to do with like army training, but I mean, whatever. So I get up in the tree and jump out of the tree and like land right on my arm, crack, right? And then I'm like crying instantly because like I broke my arm. And my brother's like, oh, that didn't sound good. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'm gonna go get Rick, he says, my dad. And I'm like, no, don't get him. And like I said, I'll walk her off. He's like, you're not walking that off. I was like, no, don't get him. Don't tell him, like, you know. And he's like, no, I'm getting him. So he goes and gets my dad. Instantly, my dad starts like yelling at me, like, what are you doing? Jumping out of a tree. And the funny thing is, like, I used to be like, I'd get bored and be like, Dad, I'm bored. And be like, what do you want me to do? Like, go climb a tree or something. He'd say that. And I brought that up and he did not like that. I was like, well, you said to climb a tree. And he was like, no, I was like, jump out of a tree. Like, okay, what's the difference? Climb, jump, like, you gotta get out of the tree somehow. So I broke my arm and he was not happy about it. He was like screaming at me. Like, I was like crying. Like, I was like, it was my fault that I broke my arm, I guess. Like, I did that on purpose just to piss you off. So, and bring me inside. And my stepmom is like concerned about it. And it's my left hand. And she puts this like battery down and she's like, pick that up. So I kept going with this hand to pick it up. She's like, no, do it with this hand. And I'm trying, willing my hand to do it. But, you know, my arm was broken, like right here. Like one of those two, like they have those 2 bones here. And one of them was broke. It wasn't picking up shit. And I was so determined that I didn't want it to be broken because my dad was going to like be really, he was already mad at me and just make things worse. Right. So, it was broken and he was like, oh God damn it. I'm going to take her to the fucking hospital now, you know, and all the way there. And I was like, hoping Sandy was going to take me. Cause I mean, she was nicer than him. I mean, she was concerned. She put a little splint on me, you know, nope, just me and Daddy-O. I'm like, yay. So like right into the hospital, he's yelling, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why the fuck would you do that? Like, I'm just bawling, crying, like my arm is broken. I mean, like, it's not good. All the way until we get to the hospital. As soon as we get there, and then he's Daddy there. He's like, oh, come on, sweetie. I'm like, sweetie? Like, he just screamed at me all the way here. I'm like crying, you know, devastated. But yeah, so real loving environment to grow up in. And that was that. That was life living with my dad. There's so many more situations. But anyway, yeah. So that broken promises is episode 2 of Life is Strange. So this was, I guess, leads us through when I went to go stay with my dad when I was 6, all the way up, we'll say, to about middle school time, and the treatment for my dad, and like he still wasn't present, he still wasn't around. So it's always like, you know, we were always looking forward to like the little things in life. Meanwhile, on the other side of town at my mom's, there was another story unfolding. So that will be episode 3, and that one will definitely have a warning on it, and hopefully we'll have some collabs on that, because it was. I thought I had it bad, put it that way. My little brother and sisters had it way worse, and we'll get to that. So that'll be episode 3. I hope you guys are enjoying the story so far. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them below, subscribe, and we'll see you next time for episode 3.